Good afternoon from the For the CB. This is Chris Robinson with your Traders Exclusive for today, Friday the 13th, July. Happy Friday the 13th out there. Talking about the grains, and then we're going to finish up with the livestock. So this week was a big week, especially yesterday. We had a USDA report. The interesting thing is, despite some pretty bullish figures coming out, and especially in corn and wheat, the market really didn't have much follow through. We had initial follow through Thursday, and we've seen that every month we've had one of these reports. We get a move, and then there's no follow through. So from a trader's standpoint, we always like to look for follow through. That's the one thing that's really been lacking on any sort of move we've had this year in the grains. Post Memorial Day weekend, we've just been in a slide. 80-cent sell-off in corn, a $2.25 sell-off in soybeans, 90-cent sell-off in wheat. All that has been fueled by plentiful supplies here in the U.S., pretty good growing seasons, no dramatic weather issues, no hot and dry temperatures to stress the crops. And we've also seen the third thing, which has really impacted these markets, which is a flip. We came into the summer, the managed money was long, 1 billion bushels of corn, 500 million bushels of soybeans, about 60,000 contracts of wheat. That's all been flipped. And that flip, you can see it reflected in the pricing. Since we have not had a weather issue, really the managed money has been the force that's been pushing these around. Also supply and demand, obviously, because at the end of the day, that's the one law that no politician, I don't care what part of the world you're in, you can't fight the law of supply and demand. But what had started out the first 5-6 months of the year, looked like we might have a good bull market in the grains, has just completely evaporated. We're at 10-year lows in 10 to 11-year lows in soybeans, approaching 2-year lows in the corn. So what do? Right? Okay, everybody's all bearish. The market's very, very bearish. There's two possibilities. We continue to grind lower, in which case you look for rallies to sell, or you be a counter-trend trader. What's a counter-trend trader? Well, obviously, when the market makes new lows, you step in and buy it. Now, when you step in and buy it, you've got to make sure that you've got a sell stop underneath. Otherwise, you're just blindly rolling the dice. So you don't ever want to blindly roll the dice, no matter what you're doing, especially when you're with trading the grains. So as we head into the second half of the summer, we've got July and August. Corn is going to be coming out of the window where it can really be stressed. There's still a lot of what ifs in the soybean market. Soybeans aren't made until August. So there's that weather premium, which could pop in at any times. The number one thing we need to have to get this market back on track to the higher side is an agreement with China as far as exports go. They take 75% of our beans. I think it's no coincidence that we've dropped over 20%. We had a high of 1060. We traded today, below 835, 838. So that's really been the number one driver. We need to get a deal with China if you want to see a recovery in soybean prices. No two ways about it. So there's your counter trend. Your counter trend is try to step in and buy it. But you've got to make sure that if you don't want to buy it and then watch it break 20 cents and then buy it and then watch it break 20 cents. There's an old expression in trading, losers average losers. You do not want to be a loser, but if you're trying to step in and take a counter trend, this is the time you want to do it. All it's going to take is one change, one announcement, one tweet, and we could have a situation where we go screaming higher. Why? Again, I'll finish up where I started. Money flow. The funds are all short now. So they're short in the hole. They're continuing to press it lower to add to those sales to try to make money. If anything changes and they have to get out, you can see the exact same type of flip that we had post Memorial Day weekend where they were getting out of their longs. They were long and wrong. Now are they short in the hole and wrong? So the next 6 weeks gives you that opportunity. Number one, you've got to stay disciplined. That's rule number one. Have a great long weekend. Today is Friday the 13th. So it's not a long weekend. I don't know why I said that. So have a good weekend. If you're looking for help, look me up online, Chris Robinson. Have a great weekend.